Well, first of all, I will not cut public safety. I will find a way around that, because when you cut public safety, you have pandemonium. Your residents in this city become very frightened. The last time the public safety cuts went on, my telephone blew up. I mean, people were calling, people were concerned. Fire department being cut, police being cut. That's unacceptable in the Williams administration. We will find other ways to cut. And I have no problem standing up to anybody to make cuts when we have to make those cuts, but public safety will not be cut. Mr. Montgomery talks about all the good things the city's doing, and he knew all the time that the city it had these financial problems. Why all of a sudden, 11 and a half years, he's Mr. Wizard and he can find all these new things now? No. We knew it was a problem a long time ago. All these outside contracts, all these vendors, all these folks getting upgrades. One of the persons who signs off on the upgrades, who gets upgrades, she's right there also. We're not going to be doing that anymore. We're going to eliminate that upgrade system. It's going to be fair for everybody across the board. There's a whole lot of hanky-panky that's been going on, and when we win, my administration is going to get to the bottom of it.
Thank you, Dennis.
Well, I'm tired of hearing 10-cent solutions to the problem that the city has. I believe we have to be innovative. I think we have to be creative. There's nothing wrong with no one on this panel who want to stand up to the challenge. Mr. Montgomery also touts that, you know, the next mayor is going to have to be somebody to make tough decisions. Well, I think this administration that we've been putting up for the last 12 years have made some silly decisions and made some real decisions that didn't even benefit other communities and other people, and now the people are suffering from it. I think if we stand up as a government to all these challenges, we have a lot of things that we can do out here before we start cutting jobs and taking away jobs. But when, you know, hiring consultants at $100,000 a consultant to figure out our solutions, and they're not even from here, that's not solving Wilmington's problem. Together, I think we need to collectively come up with an idea with different community associations and different other people in the communities on how we can fix this. And first, be creative.
Thank you, Mr. Movell.
Well, in the Spencer administration, obviously, if we're facing a financial shortfall, you know, we'll have to look at what impact that would have on the event. But certainly before we raise taxes on people who can't afford them. And again, I go back to that Honeywell deal, which is a wastewater treatment plant. Most people don't know, the largest in city history, $35 million for 20 years. Who in our listening and viewing audience goes shopping for something without comparing prices? It's $35 million. We could have saved as much as $1 million if we let other companies compare prices. That's not fair to those who are struggling to pay back taxes before they lose their home or face water shutoffs. And the Baker-Montgomery administration, you know, supported that kind of financial deal. That puts us on a path that's financially unsustainable. And the Spencer administration will save 1% a year at least in cutting costs, 1% a year in boosting revenues, and after 5 years, we have a 10% spread to spend money on discretionary infrastructure investments or as a financial cushion.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in, you're watching the Mayoral Debate live on Channel 28. I want to thank my moderators, Alan O'Dell and Rhonda Graham from the News Journal. I want to thank the Congo Hour and everyone from the Congo Group for giving us this opportunity. What we're going to do is we're going to have a little crossfire right now, and we're going to take a break. This will probably be the first time in the history of TV you'll take a break to listen to funeral announcements. But that's what we're going to do. And then we're going to take some phone calls and get the audience involved with a few questions from the audience. There's been some serious allegations being thrown back and forth, Bill, and I would like for you, and I think you wanted to respond to Mr. Kevin Kelly and Mr. Williams, or Mr. Did you want to respond? And you guys could kind of talk about, I mean, we're going to keep it within the time period, but if you want to address some of those issues, this is the time.
I think we need to address issues because there's an inference here that there's city employees doing all kinds of shady things and bad things. There is a very ethical, well-trained and hard-working city workforce, and all I hear about are forensic audits and this and that. There's all this in you that there's on. If you want to see weighted for Moody's, Standard & Poor's, and Fitch in here, the bond rating agencies. Agent,
Bill, Kevin, go ahead.
I'm going to go back to Mr. Spencer and his one show about, you know, the contract for the wastewater treatment. Mr. Spencer, the contract was put out several years ago. There was an option for Honeywell to extend that contract. We opted that contract extension. So when you talk about $35 million and saving $1 million, whenever you ride by the Labor's Union 199, you tell those folks why you didn't support it, okay? Mr. Williams also wrote a letter saying he was against that proposal as well. Mr. Williams was also against the money we invested in the hotel. So there about $100 million worth of work these two gentlemen were against that were going on in the city of Wilmington. So let's look and see what's going on here, okay, at the end of the day. People are working. The contract was let perfectly. There was no problems with it. You want to challenge it? Hire a lawyer and challenge it.
So you're saying these guys voted against something, millions of dollars worth of work?
Mr. Spencer has been against the wastewater treatment plant. Mr. Williams wrote a letter saying it should have been rebid. So
Either
35
one of
million.
you guys want to comment on
I'm
that?
going to respond on the hotel.
Sure,
real
go
quick.
ahead.
And then in the hotel,
Mr. Kelly must not know what's going on at the hotel. 199 is filing litigation right now against the hotel because there's not one city worker working there or 199. No one from 199 got
And
a job
I'm in support of
city
that.
workers.
And I'm in support of that.
You were happy-go-lucky putting $1 million there, and we told you they weren't going to get any work for the city. All of a sudden, no city worker, no city employees employed there, and no one from 199.
and I support the unions in their efforts since that
Well, you
decision
should,
is
since
made.
you voted to give them $1 million. You should be.
$1 million was given because at the end of the day, we were getting $500,000 back as soon as we gave
And no
them
jobs for
the
city
30.
residents, just like I told you would happen.
Scott, what you say?
Okay,
We'll see at the end of that day
look,
what
to
happens.
find out the real deal, what I'm saying about overspending and us being cut out of jobs, go to spencerforthepeople.com, letters and speeches. I wrote a letter about the Honeywell deal and a letter about the hotel. In both cases, Mr. Kelly, you know I'm a big union supporter. I've been in the railroad industry for years. And I said specifically in the letter to City Council on Honeywell, it needs to be bid so that we have a contract where they specifically say what is the union content and what is the content for city workers' commitment. That's what I said. I did not say I oppose the project or the jobs. I want those jobs.
And there was a city
You know that.
commitment.
Wait a minute, let me finish. You know full well I'm fighting for jobs. Anybody goes to my website, I have the most detailed initiatives for bringing jobs back to America, to Wilmington and being in control of the gold. All I'm saying is on the Honeywell deal, what were the other prices of other people who were proposing that project? None. So don't go to tell people you have to come out of your houses because you have back taxes or we're shutting your water off because we need your money when you didn't even shop a price around
Okay, hold up.
$35 million.
Thank you.
Nobody-
Ron, did you hold for 1 second. Ron, did you have a follow-up? You or Alan? Did you guys?
Let him go. I think
May I?
Well, let him go. Hey, Trippy, when do you need to?